Good morning. We are the Group 4 and we are about to discuss the labor and contract system of construction. I am Chair Lou Domingo and my topic is all about business method. It was stated that we have two systems daw in employment in the construction of both public and private workers. The first one is the day labor system kung saan ito yung system or organization na kinabibilangan ng mga superintendents, foremen, mechanics, owner, and laborers kung saan ay nagwo-work sila by independently and for a given time in a day only with no promised salaries. Next is the contract system. Simply by the word itself is having a contract or kasunduan about the work. This includes the profit that can be gained, the day of the work, and etc. You must finish the signed contract or else pwede may kasuhan by breaching of contract. Contract often presented in written documents. As the owner, it is your duty to know and determine the possible cost of the work. Dapat daw ay maa-access niya yung sa magiging finance if the work that will be done or attainable and could give a positive outcome. He must project the possible results which will be obtained from the investment. For the contractor, mahalaga rin na malaman yung cost and know the details of the contract, if there would be any, para malaman niya if he can complete the work for a given time and given amount of profit. So with their own benefits, parehas na essential for the contractors and owner na malaman lahat ng possible conditions na maaaring maka-affect sa estimations ng actual cost. In fixed-sum contract daw, magkaiba ng interes si owner and contractor while the day labor system offer a way or nagiging way para maiwasan yung ibang difficulties under contract system kasi some contractors tend to breach their contract or hinahayaan na lang nila matapos kontrata nila but do not do the work effectively.
Hello, my name is Junel Nikko Guhit, and I will discuss about the uncertainties in cost of work. Difficulties that needs to be eliminated must first be recognized. One of the greatest difficulties in the way of securing the construction of work at reasonable cost lies in the uncertainties as to what the cost may be. So pag sinabi nating uncertainties in cost of work, it means definite or wala tayong assurance kung magkano ba talaga ang cost ng isang project because may mga times na hindi natin may iwasan ang mga problems like accidents, conflicts, etc. which may affect the total cost of the project. These uncertainties arise from various factors which are here briefly outlined. So we have 14 factors from which these uncertainties arise. I will discuss the first 7, then yung susunod na reporter, i-discuss niya yung last 7. Let's move on. First, we have the engineer. The uncertainty involved in the selection of an engineer is not the least of his troubles nor an unimportant factor in the expense of his undertaking. Much depends upon the honesty, integrity, judgment, and the ability of the engineer. An engineer with all such attributes is seldom available and such qualifications can only be approximated. So dito pumapasok ang pagiging experience ng isang engineer. Once na ang isang engineer ay may wide knowledge na about sa mga materials to be used, may possibility na mas lumiit ang costing sa materials. Pero kung ang isang engineer ay walang honesty, pwede niya itong tipirin sa materials, then the budget for that material is ibubulsa niya which is obvious, makaka-apekto ito sa costing ng isang project. Engineer may be highly successful in one field and a serious failure in some other, which is radically different. It lies within every young engineer to develop these attributes of success to a greater or less degree. Much will depend upon his individual willpower to make himself or herself available for responsible service. Tulad nga ng sabi ko kanina, depende sa morality ng isang engineer kung magpo-provide siya ng isang responsible service towards the project. To the contractor, The engineer is an equally important element of uncertainty, especially where local conditions are unknown, plans and specifications are incomplete, and the contract places large discretionary powers in the hands of the engineer. Pwede din magamit ang knowledge ng isang engineer para mabawasan ang expenses ng isang project. Like kapag may kulang sa plans, pwede niya itong kumpletuhin kung may enough knowledge siya rather than consulting to other professionals, which is gastos na naman. Next is local conditions. Complete information covering local conditions, full and complete specifications, a fair contract and provisions for the arbitration of disputed questions will remove much of the uncertainty. This can be removed through an investigation by technical experts employed by the owner. So dito pumapasok yung costing for labor and materials, warranties, taxes, permits, fees, and notices. May mga times kasi na magkakaroon ng faults sa estimation ng cost ng labors and materials dahil sa mga fees, charges, and taxes ng ibang items or individuals. Next is plans. Complete and definite plans can be based only on a complete and definite knowledge of the local conditions. Complete and definite and proper plans can be prepared only by those who have sufficient knowledge and experience. Pag polish ang isang plan, may iiwasan ang pagkakaroon ng misunderstandings between the engineer, the contractor, and the owner. May iwasan din ang pagkakaroon ng faults or errors about sa construction ng project which may cause another expense or gastos. Next is specifications. These are dependent upon both a knowledge of conditions and a knowledge of how the condition should be met in order to secure the desired results. Katulad lang din to nung sa plans. This is all about proper planning and preparations para ma-obtain yung desired results precisely. Dahil once na nagkaroon ng misunderstanding about sa plans, ironically, cost may pay the price. Contingencies. Even when a fairly thorough preliminary investigation has been made and where complete and definite plans and specifications have been prepared, contingencies cannot be eliminated although they can be reduced. Ito yung tinatawag nating natural disasters like rain, floods, earthquakes, etc. that may occur during the construction. We are truly aware that we cannot stop this kind of disasters. We can only reduce its effects. Our next factor is casualties. Construction work is frequently accompanied by casualties more or less serious. This can be reduced by care and watchfulness, but mankind will never become sufficiently reliable to eliminate them altogether. This is also an unpredictable happening that may occur in the construction. Although workers or anyone in the construction wear safety gears and stops, once na nagkaroon ng major crash or anything na nag-collapse, hindi maiiwasan ang may masasaktan or masusugatan. And syempre, once na may nangyari sa mga workers, the company will cover their hospital expenses na kailangan ng mga victims. And for the last factor that I'm going to report, transportation. Almost every structure is dependent on transportation to some extent for its prompt construction and cost. This will probably be satisfactory but may cause trouble, tulad ng mga landslides during the delivery of the materials, wrecks or banggaan, freight blockades or yung pagharang sa mga freights. Freights is yung container na pinaglalagyan ng materials na binabiyahe sa mga barko.
Hi, I'm Froilan Collado. Equipment. The satisfactory completion of construction depends upon promptly securing the proper equipment for construction purposes as well as the necessary equipment for the project to be constructed, both of which involve more or less uncertainties because other than the principles to the construction are involved. Manufacturers may have other orders that have precedence of may be unable to secure the material necessary for making the equipment, and many other causes make this an item of extra expense. Material. To secure material when needed and at a reasonable price is often a serious difficulty. Both items must be as certain as a basis for a cost estimate, but as an order can seldom be placed at the time the estimate is made, both delivery and costs may change before construction is possible. Supervision. It is exceedingly difficult to secure suitable supervision for construction work. Firms having an extensive business usually keep a number of dependable men on whom, from their previous experience, they can reasonably rely. Even such firms cannot keep all of the superintendents for men that they need when business is at its best, and they must depend on their ability to select and secure suitable men for temporary position. The problem becomes more difficult and uncertain when an entire force is to be organized for the purpose of a single construction. Letters and recommendation may assist in the selection of such men, but there is no way by which actual fitness can be determined except by trial, and repeated trials are often necessary. A superintendent or foreman who, inexperienced or unsuited to a certain position, may frequently thus add greatly to the expense of the construction. Next, labor. Skilled and unskilled labor is one of the important variables in the cost of construction. The ability to secure suitable men in sufficient number for the prompt completion of construction will greatly reduce costs. When men are in great demand, they are hard to secure. The force employed becomes inadequate, and not only in the work is the work delay and the cost of supervision increase, but the men themselves become less efficient. When jobs are scarce and hard to find, the men on the work are attentive and efficient, but with plenty of work and labor in demand, they become independent and inefficient. The price of labor advances, and the amount performed per individual becomes less. This change frequently occurs after an estimate is made and must be considered serious uncertainties in all estimates. Combinations. Illegal combinations are among the uncertainties that will cause extra expense in construction. Combination of constructor, material men, and manufacturers are not unknown, and often seriously affect prices. They can seldom be proved, but they are often more or less free. They can often be recognized only by a very definite knowledge of actual values, and their effect on cost can sometimes be obviated only by the rejection of offers and refusal to proceed until such condition can be eliminated. Graft. The form of dishonesty known as graft is more common to public than to private work, because the opportunities in public work are greater. It results from private combinations or dishonest men who have some influence which can be used to secure the acceptance of unfair prices or unfair work, and a consequence dishonest profit which may be divided among them. No high-grade constructors or engineers worthy of the name ever enter into such dealings, and while the disreputable defect in business relations is still occasionally encountered and still need watchful attention, it is believed to be less common than is popularly supposed. And last, politics. This evil creates some of the most important uncertainties in the cost of construction of public work. It sometimes results in form of graft, which have been previously mentioned, but it often takes forms which, while objectionable, hardly justifies to serve a title. Political influences are commonly exercised to secure appointment of superintendents, foremen, and inspectors who are unqualified for the work, and labor that is inefficient or incapacitated. They may be exercised to reduce hours of labor and to unduly increase the compensation paid. The reasons behind this may sometimes be laudable, as for example, the desire to improve labor's conditions, the desire to afford work to the unemployed, or maybe unscrupulous when exercised for personal influence. In any event, politics is one of the serious uncertainties which must be considered in the cost of public works. To the above might be added legal complications and perhaps other factors which are only indirectly covered in the above analysis.
Force account construction. Work ordered on a construction project without an existing agreement on its cost and performed with the understanding that the contractor will bill the owner according to the cost of labor, materials, and equipment, plus a certain percentage for overhead and profit. Dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, ito ang tinatawag na arawan na pagtatrabaho o pagko-construct ng isang project. In this type of labor, hindi naka-specific dito kung magkano ba ang gagastusin dahil nakadepende ito sa manggagawa o contractor kung ano ba ang mga kakailanganin nilang materyales, equipment, nandoon na din yung araw-araw na labor nila at pati na yung profit nila na ipoprovide naman ng owner. Next, advantages of day labor. Employment of local labor, makakatulong para sa mga lokal na manggagawa. Saves contractors profit. Nakakasave ng kita ang mga contractor dahil mismong gawa lang ng mga manggagawa ang babayaran nila. Eliminates camping and inefficient contractor. Ini-eliminate ang pag-aaksaya ng oras ng mga contractor. Eliminates difficulty of drawing contracts and complex construction. Hindi na kailangan gumawa ng mga komplikadong contract para sa complex projects. Permits flexibility and ease of modifying plans. Flexible sa mga pagbabago at adjustments. Saving in cost of inspection. Makakasave sa cost of inspection. Next. Disadvantages of day labor. Politics, higher wages for labor, shorter hours, and less efficient labor. Sa politika, mataas yung sweldo sa maikling oras at less efficient yung trabaho. Usually entails greater actual cost of construction. Mas mataas yung nagiging presyo sa dapat na presyo lang na babayaran. Introduces inefficient of superintendent and foreman due to lower wages and political influences in appointments. Dahil sa mababang sweldo at impluwensya ng politika, nagiging inefficient ang mga manggagawa. Difficulties more fancied than real and can be overcome by employing efficient and experienced engineers. Yung mga difficulties na may encounter, overcome lang sa pag-hire ng experienced engineer. Leads to careless investigation and design and unsafe estimates. Nagli-lead sa careless investigation, design and unsafe estimates. No real saving possible, inspector are necessary to prevent carelessness by foreman. Kailangan mag-hire ng inspector para ma-monitor ang mga foreman. Difficulty of fixing responsibility. Mahirap i-fix yung responsibility sa mga trabaho. Tendency to maintain organizations not needed. May mga tendency na nagme-maintain ng manggagawa kahit hindi naman nakailangan. Next. Note, under favorable circumstances and for certain purposes, the advantages may offset the disadvantages, but such conditions are limited. May mga pangyayari na may higitan ng advantages yung disadvantages. Basta magawa ng maayos yung project. Pero madalang yung ganong sitwasyon. Next. Contract at a fixed price. A contract at a fixed price in construction is a pricing method which sets a total established price upfront for all construction-related activities undertaken during the lifetime of the project. Fixed price contracts are sometimes referred to as lump sum contracts and are usually seen as favorable in the construction industry when there is a clear scope and defined schedule for the project. Ito naman ang tinatawag na pakyaw o pakyawang pagtatrabaho dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. Dito, naka-specific na kung magkano ang total cost ng isang project. Nandoon na din yung bayad sa labor ng mga manggagawa o constructor. Favorable ito sa construction industry, lalo na kung mayroong clear scope sa plano at nakatakdang schedule kung kailan dapat matapos ang project. Note: it is extremely important to have a clear defined scope before agreeing to a fixed price contract. Mahalagang may malinaw na plano o scope bago mag-agree sa fixed price contract para ma-avoid yung mga maaaring maging problema tulad ng kulang sa bayad, sobrang tagal na paggawa, natipid ang materialis ng project, at etc. Advantages of contract at a fixed price. Finalized cost, low financial risk. Finalize na yung mga gagastusin kaya naman may iwasan yung pagkalugi ng manggagawa o ng owner. Settled deadline. May deadline kung kailan dapat tapusin yung project. Easy to follow development schedule. Hawak ng mga manggagawa yung schedule nila at yung oras nila sa pagtatrabaho. No management needed from the client or owner. Hindi na kailangang i-manage ng client o ng owner dahil naka-detailed na sa plano yung mga dapat gawin sa project. Disadvantages of contract at a fixed price. Price slightly above market value. Mas mataas ang total cost ng project dahil kasama na doon ang bayad sa mga manggagawa at kontraktor. Long planning phase. Matagal ang pagpaplano dahil kailangan naka-detailed na ang project bago ito gawin. Inflexible process. Hindi flexible dahil may mga sinusunod na itong plano. Not suitable for complex project. Hindi suitable sa complex project dahil sa complex project kailangan ng mga adjustments at flexible. Risk of miscommunication. Prone sa pagkakamali dahil sa miscommunication ng owner at ng manggagawa. And that's all.
Competitive bidding naman daw, ito yung pagbibid or pag-aalok ng isang service or business with another company or to the contractors. Example, you want to hire a specific person pero iba yung gusto niyang pagtrabahuhan. You will create a bid by offering him a large conduct, but once na magiging ineffective yun sa worker, magkakaroon ka ng excessive waste of competitive bidding since hindi naman siya nagamit and serves as a waste of your competitive bidding lang, which also causes a loss in your side. Your bid or payment do not match the effectivity of his work. This goes almost the same with the concept of partnership. Once na matapos yung project and maging mas maliit yung sa naging cost or expense that the estimate, magkakaroon kayo na extra fund which should be divided equally to the contractor and the owner. Pero once naman daw na mas malaki yung amount ni cost kaysa sa estimated budget nyo, magkakaroon kayo ng loss kung saan ay dapat din paghatian ni owner and contractor.
I am Nelson Morales. My topic is all about contract for cost plus a percentage, contract for cost plus a fixed sum, contract for cost plus a variable. Contract for cost plus a percentage. Madaming produkto at serbisyo ang ginagamit sa araw-araw na pamumuhay na may nakalaan o di nababagong presyo tulad na lamang ng isang pitaka na gawa mano-mano or handmade na may puhunang 20 pesos kahit gaano pa ito katagal gawin. At isa pang halimbawa ay isang car dealing na mayroong lamang na 45 pesos na gagastusin pag ikaw ay nagpalinis ng sasakyan kahit gaano pa man ito kadumi. Yung variable cost plus pricing ay hindi pwede o iangkop para sa isang kumpanya na mayroong fixed price at cost dahil maaaring tumaas yun pag maraming unit ang nagawa. Kahit anong markup ang idagdag doon, hindi pa rin tutugma sa total cost kasi nga nakapix yung price. Halimbawa na lamang sa actual cost ng labor at materials ay mas mataas kaysa sa estimate ni contractor. So sa part na yun, mas mababa ang kita ni contractor kasi yung estimate niya na final ay doon magbabase ang owner para sa porsyento ni contractor. So ganun din, pag mas mababa naman ng materials sa actual cost, edi mas mataas ang kita o porsyento ni contractor. Contract for cost plus a fixed sum. Ang kontraktor ay binabayaran na owner para sa lahat ng mga gastos na na-estimate sa kanilang proyekto na napagkasunduan. Kasama na din dito sa tinutukoy ang porsyento ng kontraktor na nakabase sa kabuuang gastos o babayaran na napagkasunduan. Contract for cost plus a variable. Ito naman yung pamamaraan ng pagpipresyo na kung saan ay ang presyo ng pagbibenta ay itinatatag sa pamamagitan ng pagdagdag ng markup or price spread ng kabuuang variable na gastos.